necessary.
Do I like that part
evil?
of it?
Yeah.
I like it. I enjoy it.
Okay.
Karen, he does our thumbnails.
Okay.
I do all like the edits and stuff, but I do enjoy that part of it.
Okay. Yeah. I enjoy it when I get into it, but the thought of it, but like weighs on me.
Really? So, what are you talking about? Like when you edit your like fashion, like the fashion show, like behind the scenes.
That, but I don't know if
film?
you know. I have a video production company.
So I saw that in your bio, but I didn't see anything like that you've done. So I wasn't really sure.
It's weird.
What's weird about it?
It's one of those. So my background is in video production, and I have a production company, and I actually started that before the fashion show.
Okay. But
the fashion show is what really took off. And also, I feel like, we're just really getting right into it.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
I feel like in the beginning, I had imposter syndrome real bad. So I would never talk about or like put out any of my videos that I did.
Well, what kind of videos were you producing?
I do a lot of event coverage. Okay. So like we cover events for, like the first couple things we did, like we would go to coffee shops, festivals. I do a lot of stuff for Waterside.
Okay. Were you at Rock the Dot?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't there. I saw stuff from that. That was crazy. Cool. That was cool. Yeah. But a lot of their like random events that they do, like Cinco de Mayo and like when they have EDM festivals and stuff. Fest events. I think 2 years ago, I covered their whole season. DNC, Downtown Norfolk, I cover a lot of stuff for them. So just like a lot of event coverage. I want to get more into commercial stuff, and I do short film stuff on the side for fun. That's not profitable yet, but that's more so what I want to get into. But right now it's a lot of event coverage. But I haven't been marketing myself that great on that just because I'm very...
Well, it seems like you've had a lot going on.
Yeah.
With the fashion show, especially like we met at the one at the zoo, it seemed like that took a lot of planning and a lot of time to put together.
It did, yeah. That's definitely been at the forefront of things because that's like months of planning. Months of planning, yeah.
I also want to get into commercials and stuff for companies. That's like my idea with our skits. Like I feel like I've kind of created like a formula and a vibe for the skits that we do. So I do want to eventually like start doing like social media commercials for companies. I'm right now getting more into doing them, like doing promo skits for events. So I'm about to do one for this like battle rap that's coming up. Okay. And then I'm doing one for, the Ocean View event, or it's like called Bay Day.
Yes.
So bro hired me to do one for that. So we're actually filming that tomorrow.
That's cool.
So that should be pretty fun.
I like that. It's its own lane. When we did the one for the fashion show, so many people like talked.
They liked it?
They loved it. Yeah.
Bro, that was my favorite one-liner I ever did. I said, Ariana, a fashion show at the zoo? You're like, yeah.
Everyone was coming up to me
bro,
like,
pull that up real quick.
Like, you and Selmir? Oh my God. So that was really, really cool.
Honestly, I didn't really expect how that was going to come out. I had an idea, but it kind of came out better than I thought.
Yeah.
Like, see, with stuff like that, it's almost like less is more. Like, remember I was telling you, like, we shouldn't, like, over-explain, even though we filmed a bunch more stuff that we didn't use. But, yeah, sometimes it's like you just want to give people something, like, it's, like, not too long, 15, 20 seconds, just to pique their interest and make them, like, want to go dive deeper to find out what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Out of all the promo that we did, that was the one that, like, the most people talked about. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I was happy to see you advertising afterwards the like event promo or like promo services. I was like,
people still sleep on this. Oh yes, it's right here. We ain't gotta play the sound, but so we talked to a bear and we also talked to a giraffe. The giraffe was like, will there be drinks? This was fun though.
Yeah,
that was my first time at that zoo.
Yeah, same for me. Yeah, I hadn't been there before we started planning the event, but it's always packed out.
The zoo.
Yeah, field trips and whatever else they do there.
So you started out with this production company. You're doing videos. How did you get to producing fashion shows?
Okay, so I was in the Navy.
Okay.
So that's a storyline. That's what brought me here originally.
From?
South Carolina. Yes. And in the Navy, I was a mass communication specialist. So you get your background and everything like video, photography, journalism, public affairs, all that. So when I moved here, I was the video lead at Naval Medical Center in Portsmouth, actually. And that was right before COVID.
Not to cut the story off, but what role how does that position look in the Navy? Like, what content are you producing for the Navy?
Yeah, so at the hospital, so for one, any military stuff where like there's an award ceremony, they'll do like Sailor of the Quarter, Sailor of the Year. You go and they call it grip and grin. So like people smiling with their award. Or because I was in the hospital, there were times where like a doctor created this new device or like was working on a study, and I would have to go interview them and either do like a video or a photo and like write a story about it, and it would get put out. And like it wasn't a big like national news thing, but just like local within the community. So we would be like writing stories, creating content, a lot of training videos too that were all internal that like never got put out anywhere. But during COVID, it was all like wash your hands and like wear your mask and like creating flyers and like all that type of stuff.
Oh, so you were doing propaganda.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. But so
the CIA came and tapped you on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Wait, did they really?
No.
Okay, I was about to say, hold on, wait.
That didn't happen.
Like, we need everybody to wash their hands at least.
But no, it was just stuff like that and like people telling their stories, and you know how that time was. It was crazy. But I feel like I got my reps in as far as like video and editing, because that's all I was doing like all day, every day. So that was cool. And I always knew I wanted to do that outside of the Navy. Growing up, like was always interested in film. I have like tons of scripts, you know, that I've written that I want to produce. So always wanted to get into that, but didn't know how. And after having that experience and moving here, because it was COVID time, I didn't know anybody. I wasn't doing much. So I just started reaching out to people, making connections and building up a community. And there was one time, because, you know, like restrictions would lift and then like go back. So it was like weird.
Out here?
Yeah.
Out here it was pretty laid back. I don't think our restrictions were too crazy, like not compared to like a place like LA or something like that.
Maybe it's because I didn't know any. So you were probably like still turning up, but like I didn't know anybody or anything. So it was like,
yeah, well, we were like in the mid range. Like there was like LA where it was like super strict, everything was shut down. Then you go to like Florida where they didn't give a fuck at all. They never stopped partying, and we were kind of in that like sweet middle.
Yeah. But being here and not knowing anybody or anything, it was just like, okay, what do I do? So there was one point where I got invited to a fashion show that was happening because of just connections I was making. And I went and I was like, I think I could do something like this, like an event. I had planned smaller events before, just like little parties and things. And I saw it and I was like, what do you need for a fashion show? Like designers, some models, a venue. And after that, I just decided to produce a fashion show.
And this was without really having any prior experience in anything fashion related? Because I know you've like also modeled and stuff.
Yeah, I've modeled
since then, or
I've modeled since I was younger. Always had an interest in it. I'm tall and skinny, so people are always like, do you play basketball? Do you play volleyball? Or do you model? So I always felt like I had to do one of those things, but I also loved modeling, loved fashion, grew up watching America's Next Top Model, was obsessed with that show. And back home, I did Charleston Fashion Week for 2 years in South Carolina. And
like modeled for it?
Yes, I walked in the show. And a lot of people don't know this, which is a cool fun fact that I learned recently, but Fern Malice, she was one of the founders of New York Fashion Week back in the 80s.
Okay.
And she was connected to Charleston Fashion Week. So they would bring out agents from like all the top agencies in New York City. And it was a really, really big production. So even though I'm from a small town, I had the experience of like a high level fashion show, industry level fashion show. And I think I always took that with me. And I've been interested in modeling since I was younger. I would always like meet up with friends and do photo shoots and things just for fun. So I had a little bit of that background.
Yeah. So when you went to this fashion show out here, you're like, maybe I can do this. You had some sense of like what that world is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what it could look like.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is cool. I think I could do something with this. So after that, it was literally just community building. So I decided I was going to do a show. I didn't know where I was going to do it, and made an Instagram page and just started like highlighting local models and designers and creatives and like networking with people, and just like built the platform along the way. And then we did our first show.
What year was this first show?
That was 2021.
Okay.
In October, end of 2021.
So COVID's still pretty fresh.
Yeah, but restrictions, because it was always a thing of like what our capacity was going to be. Because I know there was a time where they were going back and forth of like, if it's an indoor event, you can only have this many people or whatever.
6 feet apart.
Yeah. So, but oddly enough, it was at a time where, because like we didn't have to do the whole 6 feet apart thing. I don't know. It was the end of 2021. So I was praying the whole time, like, please just let this show go off. So it did.
Yeah, what was the planning like for this first show?
What was the planning like? I know the biggest thing was the venue. We did it at the Mocha, but I toured so many spots, and I think that's what also helped me just like get acclimated to the area of like what all was in the area from just like touring so many different venues, and ended up using the Mocha. And then the biggest thing was just the community building, you know, like reaching out to everybody that I could, telling everyone about it, like posting up flyers everywhere. Like I was like hitting the streets, like just trying to get the word out that we were doing this show. And yeah, it was a lot, but it was fun. I feel like that first one was more fun than stressful, because at a certain point it got stressful. Like this last show was stressful. More stressful than fun, I will say. But I think that just comes from like over time when you grow something and then people have a certain expectation and then you feel like you have to meet that expectation, and then you're not, or at least me, always, I guess just always like trying to reach that next level and not fully appreciating it, you know? Yeah.
Well, I've never done a fashion show, but I've thrown like a couple events, like music stuff. And I will say every time I've thrown an event, I never have fun in my own event.
Yeah.
It does feel stressful.
It's
so I don't know if
stressful.
that's just a natural thing, but maybe there is some way you can get back to that original feeling you had at that first show where it was fun for you.
Yeah.
And just maybe hire more people, or
I think
like light some of that load off of you.
That's definitely part of it, is growing the team, because I have a great community, but it's hard. I won't say it's hard, but delegation and growing a team is a whole different beast. So I know once I get to that, because I do want to get to a point where I'm just, well, I wouldn't say hands off, but I would love to get to a point where I'm just having a good time at the event.
You're like the founder, and you're just kind of just mingling with people, walking around mingling, and you have a team that's what is
One day.
How receptive was the community when you got here? Because you're coming from South Carolina, you don't really know anybody here. You're like, I want to throw this fashion show at the Mocha, which is like a fire establishment. How receptive was the city of you when you're reaching out to people? What did you learn like about community building and building a team like since then?
Yeah, I think everyone surprisingly was very receptive. I wouldn't say surprisingly, but the main thing for us was that the platform was about really highlighting all the talent. It wasn't about us in this fashion show and like boost us up as this platform. It was like, no, this is spotlighting the designers, the models, the stylists. So originally, when we didn't have anything to post because we never did a show before. So it was like, well, what do we make an Instagram? What do we post? And it was all highlighting everyone else. So I was looking up local models and designers and people that I really, really loved their work and shouting them out. So I think that established the brand as for the community. And then I think that helped people be very receptive to it. And then also, I like to do things. I like to, what's the right way to say this? I just have a high standard for what I would like my brand to look like and to feel like when people experience it. So I've heard a lot from people that it was just refreshing to see something like that. And then also it was very important for me to create an environment where people felt comfortable, because the fashion world, the model community is so toxic, competitive for no reason, because it's like we're all here for the same reason. So what is the pettiness about? So I've done my best to not have any of that and to really be like, we're here as a family, like everybody boost each other up, like promote each other. And I think that also has just helped to have us be received in a way where it's like, oh, this is a really good thing that I want to be a part of, you know?
Where's the toxicity at? Is it like designers that everybody wants their pieces to be bigger? Or they want to, like, I'm just, I guess I'm trying to correlate it to like music. Because it might be like every artist wants to be the one.
Yeah, I would say
like,
for the models,
like in that? Yeah.
I would say it's a lot with the models. Like the models, they might want to be the star of the show. They might want to be the one who's booked by the most designers, wearing the best piece. Because, you know, like you have your opener and your closer, which is like a big thing. So, you know, I want to open the show or...
Well, from a fan's perspective, so I went to the Foster Beauty Fashion Show at the Virginia Zoo. From my perspective, there wasn't really a star of the show. It was a team thing. First of all, it's like hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Like you can't really, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I would say we don't have that, but I think in other, it just depends on the production, really. But I know like in New York, it's a lot of competition, of course. Like other places where the opportunities, I won't say are limited, but it's like, you know, if there's a major designer who's showcasing and thousands of models apply, it's very competitive. So we do our best to create the most opportunities. Part of that you can't really, avoid, because like there is a limited amount of spots. So someone is going to get it over someone else. But even with that, we do our best. Like if someone doesn't get picked, we tell them like, hey, we still thought you were great, but like it just wasn't it this time, but please try again next season. We love you. Like work on this, this, and this. So I just try to go the extra mile to really make people feel appreciated and included in the community, you know? So
you mentioned earlier that you have, based off your body type, you're either going to basketball, modeling, or volleyball. I feel like just from an outsider looking in, the fashion world has kind of evolved to be more than just like something for tall, skinny girls.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that correct? Like I feel like over the years you've seen different, like, I want to just talk about girls' bodies, like, but body types, like different types of girls doing this thing.
Yeah.
Is that just try to be more inclusive? Is that part of like trying to be different? I don't know.
It's funny because it goes in waves. So like, and there's so many different types of, when you get into the modeling industry, because there's runway, there's commercial, there's print, there's just so many different types of modeling. And for example, like a model that you would see in a Target ad is different than the models that are walking for Balenciaga, right? So they have tried to be more inclusive. And it feels like it was in phases, because like there was also, you know, phases where like the whole DEI and like black whatever, like it has its phases. I feel like it's kind of the same with like the curvier models too. Like I think that they'll do it when it's trendy, but then it will kind of go back. I know New York Fashion Week the last 2 years, a lot of people have been complaining about, like, what happened to all the curvy models? Like,
Well, you know what happened? Lizzo lost weight. It's not cool anymore.
yeah.
It's not cool to be big no more.
Yeah, it's all about what's trendy at the moment, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, but it did seem that way. Like, it seems like you can really see the trends.
Yeah.
Even when, like, if you're talking about like the D or whatever, it felt like, for a few years there you saw like a lot of black people and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's kind of getting back to like mixed now. It's like everybody.
Yeah.
So it's like, are these companies just playing on people's emotions, like trying to get the bag at that moment with whatever's trendy, or do they really care about these people? I guess we wouldn't really know that. I don't know.
No.
It's trying to be trendy.
Yeah. But it's like, I mean, corporations, capitalism, I mean, yeah.
They in a board meeting, like, she got too much ass. She a little too curvy. That's so last year.
Oh my God.
Like, come on, what are we doing?
Yeah. That's how it sounds. I mean, yeah.
So your community building, you're doing this first show. It was actually fun for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's became more stressful since then.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, also, well, you mentioned like you've reached out to models and designers from out here that you like. Who are some of your favorite designers right now in the 757? And also, do we have like success stories of fashion designers from out here that actually went and did like crazy things like outside of the area? Also models too.
Yeah, I should know the answers to that. As far as designers goes, I don't know of anyone in particular, but I do know. So one of it was an NSU student who participated in our very first show, Museum Rejects. And I know a few years ago, I saw that he styled an NFL player for his like walkout look. I don't know who it was, but I thought that was very cool. And we have had lots of designers that have done our show and gone on and done New York Fashion Week and other events. I have to shout out Maggie Williams. She's a model from Virginia Beach who her first ever time modeling was in our show. And she's a incredibly hard worker and took that experience, built up a network. And since then, she's been all over the world. She does Paris Fashion Week. She gets booked to do all kinds of things. But we've had a lot of models who our first show was their first experience, and they've gone on to do DC Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, things like that. But that was my original goal, was to launch careers. I would love to see somebody like blow up and get really, really big. But it is nice to see that it's at least a launch pad or a stepping stone for people to know that they can. And I think also when you're in that environment and you get to connect with other people who have done it, it just like opens doors.
I love that.
So,
That's what I want All For Real to become too.
yeah.
A launch pad to help people's dreams come true. I did an episode with Karina Elise like last week. She's a tattoo artist and a muralist.
I know her, yeah.
So she was telling us the relationship between like fine arts and tattooing, where there could be some tension there. Like they might not respect each other at all times. What is the relationship like between like high fashion, which I would correlate with like your brand and like fashion shows and stuff, the relationship with that and like street brands and like streetwear culture?
So this show was the first show that we didn't have streetwear, but we definitely have had streetwear in all of our other shows, because I just love to show that it's all fashion. Obviously, it's not elitist, but I think on a much bigger scale, high fashion could feel a bit elitist. But I don't know, from my experience, they both exist together. But I think on a larger scale, there is some maybe tension, but it's just because it's all art. So it's just like there's elevated high fashion where you're doing things that some people are elevated streetwear, where you're creating pieces that are more urban, but they are incorporating the techniques of high fashion. So it's just stupid, if there is any tension between them. But for me, at least, I haven't experienced that. But I know that it exists. Yeah.
So we're talking about you coming to Virginia, building your brand here. I saw you did I think like a written interview with Kay.
Yes.
And you said something in that I loved.
Okay.
You were like, here, I think you were talking about just creating in Virginia. And you were like, here it feels more genuine. Like people create because they love it, because they have to. You want to go, this is a picture right here. Can you go a little further, like deeper into that?
Yeah. So I forget what prompted this question, but I've met so many people where what they do as an entrepreneur, it's inherently creative and they don't want to do anything else. There's no option or question for them to do anything else. And what's interesting about it for me here is that we don't have I don't want to, not the infrastructure, but just like we don't have the support for our independent creatives. I feel that a major city like New York or LA or Miami, when you think of art and creative entrepreneurship. So for people to ride so hard for what they do here in a place where it's not as supported on a mass scale, I feel like that's real. Like you're really doing it because you really want to, because
a lot of times you're not getting anything out of it.
Yes.
So like if you do continue to show up, it's probably because you love it.
You're so passionate about it that you will do it without getting paid or having support that I think a lot of us should have, and it's a subject I'm very passionate about. But
no, I definitely agree with that. And I think we spoke about that on the last episode, like something similar. Like in this area, we have this like wholesomeness, like this vibe, I think. And a lot of us are doing these things because we love to. And I was telling bro, like, I don't know if that's just because that's who we are, or like, is it because we haven't really seen those levels of success yet that make us jaded? Like, will we become jaded and do it for other reasons? Like, if that time comes, I don't know. But yeah, definitely it's like, building a brand and being like creative, you have to love it because there's so much work that goes into it that you like, if you're just doing it for money or whatever, like you'll just quit because it takes so long. That even goes back to what we spoke about in the beginning of the episode. That's why I love editing my stuff because I enjoy that. Like I wake up early to go edit and I'm just like, that's the start of my day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because otherwise, it's like, what are you doing it for?
What am I doing it for? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, so you're talking about this fashion show at the zoo. I do want to go back to what we spoke about before we got on air. You said you went to Atlanta a couple times in the past few weeks.
Yeah.
You went to a tech conference.
I did.
What was that
Render.
like?
That was a lot of fun. There's some crazy stuff going on with AI right now.
I've seen.
Crazy.
Not to cut you off. Can you type in Cat Olympics AI? This is the best cat video I've ever seen in my life. But you can keep going while he pulls it up.
Well,
what did you see about AI out there?
So one of the new things, it's called AI agents. And shout out to digital builders. We have an event next Saturday.
I saw that, the Control-Alt-Delete. Definitely, we'll get to that. Yeah, for sure.
But
real quick, just watch this. This is AI. Oh my God. It's just cats doing dives. Zoom in a little bit. Bro. Look at it. Huh? Swag. Come on. That's nuts. So fire, bro. Okay, so digital builder or digital agents.
Digital builders.
But
AI agents is what I learned about. So
is that like the personalized agent everybody will have, like AI assistant that everybody will have?
Yes, but it's getting to the point where it's like they will have their own brain and be able to, like, you know, right now with ChatGPT, how you have to like give it instructions, like you have to prompt it every time. But with this, like, they will be autonomous to just like do whatever you program them to do.
What did they say? What people will mainly use it for?
Well, say you're using it to check your emails, right? Like you can have the same way if you were my personal assistant and I tell you what to do, how to respond when an email comes in. And you type, like, anytime an email comes in for me, you type it out and respond. So it's like that. Like, they can actually do stuff for you without being prompted. Okay. If you need to know how to, like, build a website, like, you can ask it. It will just, like, do things without being prompted. And it can also correct itself. Like, it can critique itself, which is crazy. But one of the examples that they gave us at the event, this guy, I watched him code to have an AI call his phone and talk to him about the conference in live time. And I don't understand any of this stuff. So he put in his little code and his phone rang and the AI called him. And it was just like, what? Like, when you think about it, it's like, okay, but it's like it actually called his phone from him coding something into a computer. It's like crazy. Yeah,
so I think for those it'll be like the initial way you prompt it, right? So you might prompt it once.
Yeah.
And it's like you give it all the scenarios. If this happens, you do this. If this happens, you do this. You know what I mean? AI is definitely, pull up that post I sent you and Drew about, there's a study that they just did, I think at MIT, about ChatGPT users. And apparently it's like, we're about to read what it exactly said, but it's like, it was deteriorating like 40% of your critical thinking skills or something like that. Like, people that get used to just ChatGPT writing everything out for them, they lose that ability to think of that stuff on their own. It's just like math, like with a calculator. You know, you didn't really, like, you're like, I think people had way better math skills before we got calculators. And now it's like that same concept, but just about thinking about anything, which is kind of scary. Let me read some of this. Zoom in on that. Go back to so it said that's a 40%. Brain scans showed the damage clearly. Neural connections dropped from 79 to 42. So actually your neural connections is literally dropping. If you're, go to the first slide. Is that the first slide? Go down. MIT just completed the first brain scan study of ChatGPT users, and the results are terrifying. Let's read some of this. MIT, okay. AI isn't making us more productive. It's quietly bankrupting our cognitive abilities. Here's what 4 months of data revealed. Go to the next slide. 83% of people using ChatGPT couldn't remember what they just wrote minutes after finishing. Think about that. You write something, press save, and your brain forgets it instantly because it wasn't your thinking. It was ChatGPT's. Then brain scan show. Okay, we just read that. Yeah, and then it was also talking about the teachers. So it was like teachers couldn't tell which essays were written with AI, but they knew something felt off. So they felt soulless, empty of real content, flawless language, but no personal insight. They were talking about like, all this stuff sounds like really technically correct, but there's no personality in it,
right?
Because you're not writing it yourself. It's just this like generic response. So I do think there is something to worry about here.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I feel mixed ways about it because I do feel that way. When I use ChatGPT to like write me an email or something, it's like, I do question, could I have written this myself? But it's like we're using it. I think if we use AI to enhance our lives, it's a good thing. But obviously nobody knows like how 10, 20 years from now, for one, what it's going to look like, and for two, how it's going to affect us.
Well, we can see some of that stuff based on other technologies. Like we're talking about the calculator, or we're talking about social media. Like we got all these phones now and we're so connected, but people are so socially awkward. They can't even have a conversation with people.
Right.
Like you can see that in kids.
Yeah.
So you can see like, it's like a give and take. Like we're getting something. We might be enhancing like a certain part of us, but like, are we losing something at the same time?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. On a smaller scale, I think it's like, for example, with math, I don't want to say you do need to know math, obviously. But if a person can't do complex math, but we have tools to, like, if you need the answer to a question, you can get it. Is it the worst thing in the world? I don't think so. But when we do talk about stuff like that,
like formulating a sentence,
yes,
like having a conversation,
that's important.
So, but like you want fries with that.
That's
with
important.
That thing. They're like looking at my ChatGPT.
And I definitely do see that.
Fries.
I definitely do see that in some younger people.
Bro, there's people that fall in love with ChatGPTs. Can you pull this up? Somebody married an AI, legitly, like fell in love with their
but
AI
it's like
agent.
if a person, do you think that? I haven't fallen in love with the AI.
Yeah.
So clear.
Might be a little,
Not yet.
might be AI with some game. You don't know.
Oh my gosh. So like, is there a difference in the type of people that it affects in a certain way? And I'm not capping for AI here. I see, because there is major benefits to what I feel, because it's just so, because there's like people losing jobs, but then it's like, well, does AI taking certain jobs allow for people to do the passion things that they really want to do? So it's like, I see both sides of the conversation.
Well, that's the narrative that I've been seeing for like 10 years now, where the future looks like this. The future looks like robots that create everything in abundance for like very cheap, and people won't have to do hard work anymore. Like it'll get to the point where literally like these robots and these AIs will do everything for us, where like hard labor will get eliminated. Mm-hmm. A lot of like the medial tasks that you do, you won't have to. So it will free up your time to do what you love to do. Mm-hmm. That's like an ideal world where these companies care about us.
Yeah, it's like utopia.
It's like, how does that look?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then also it's like a lot of people have their like self-worth and their value tied to their jobs.
Yeah.
So it's like a skill, and it's kind of a hard process to go from like that, getting your value from that, to like actually finding what you love, because a lot of people don't even know.
Yeah.
And having your sense of worth come from that. Mm-hmm. Like I even know that I went through that. Like when I stopped working like full time, I'm just doing like side shit now. Mm-hmm. I felt like a piece of shit. Like that's what, like I'm like, damn, I'm not even working right now. Like what am I doing? And I had to like learn to be okay and be content with myself, and like following my dreams or doing what I'm passionate about, because there wasn't any money there really.
Yeah.
So it felt like a waste of time at first, or like I was missing something. So yeah, I think we'll have to like figure that out too.
Yeah, yeah. And that's important to have that journey, but yeah, what does that look like for everyone in the whole world? I don't know. Then you start talking about things like, okay, well, if no one's working, like, do we get universal basic income?
That'd be nice. What's his name? Andrew Yang was talking about that forever.
Yeah.
He's still tweeting about that. Like, bro, we got other shit going on. We just bombed Iran. Pull that up real quick.
There's so much going on. But yeah, there's so many conversations. I'm like, I'm just vibing. I'm just here.
So Trump just tweeted literally like 5 minutes before we started the episode this. I don't know. Have you been paying attention to what's happening with Iran and Israel the past few weeks?
Ish, but also not a lot.
So obviously there's like a lot of history there, and we don't got to get too far into it because I really don't know much about it either. But complex history between Israel and Iran and all those other countries out there. Israel starts bombing Iran's nuclear facilities.
Okay.
Because Benjamin Netanyahu, which is the prime minister of Israel, said that Iran is like weeks away from a nuclear weapon, which he's been saying that since like the 90s.
So he bombed their facility.
They started bombing Iran.
Okay.
Iran started bombing Israel. And then everybody was like in limbo to see if America would join the war. A lot of people from our country don't want that. Mm-hmm. And it looks like we did. Trump literally just tweeted this before we started this episode. We have completed our very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, whatever those are. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is a time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. It's a crazy way to end that sentence. Now is a time for peace after we bomb the shit out of you guys. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but people are saying like this is legitly about to be the start of World War III.
I hope not.
Me too.
It does feel like that should have been like an internal email.
Well, I will say I do.
I mean, I guess we need to know.
I mean, I will say I do like that about this Trump's Trump presidency is they're very transparent.
I do appreciate the transparency.
Everything is like the most transparent you've ever seen from a president. Even down to like he's having media in the cabinet meetings
which they
with
never
all the people.
do. Yeah.
Biden would never.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do appreciate that because I do feel like as the American people, we should know what's happening.
And have a say in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's crazy. So yeah.
I don't know how we got to that, but so they're
AI.
doing these.
AI
Love
cats.
everybody in the world. I don't know. We all want peace.
Yes.
Here in America, we don't want to fight this fucking war.
We want peace.
So you're at this tech conference. They're talking about the AI agents.
Yes.
Anything else they talked about there?
Besides that, because I went to like 2 of the tech talks. I went to like 2 of the business talks. They didn't say anything I didn't already know, which was kind of annoying. But the most thing was just the networking. I met so many people. I was surprised because I'm not in tech, but I was surprised by the amount of people there who weren't in tech. I met a lot of, it's funny because I think I can just see it on people. So many people I met were either like into fashion, into film, or like event production. So I met a ton of people who were there just like, I just want to learn like what's going on, if there's anything I can utilize for myself and my business. So it was a lot of networking, a lot of social events and things like that. But it was a fun time, and I like Atlanta a lot. Yeah,
I was telling you we went out there. What's the last year, Karen? Yeah, we did a couple things out there. We're talking about tech, just kind of leading perfectly into this next event that you guys have.
Yes.
Which is Control-Alt-Delete at Assembly. Control-Alt-Play.
Yes.
Control-Alt-Play.
Yes.
Control-Alt-Delete is the fucking...
is the function on the...
Some shit on the keyboard. Control-Alt-Play.
Yes.
That's your next event, June 28th at Assembly.
At Assembly, yes.
I wrote it down. So I see Utopia Fenny and The Can are part of that.
Yes.
And it is a day-long, multi-level, immersive, interactive, and educational experience covering the industries of tech, art, fashion, music, and business.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like planning this? Like, what should people expect there?
Yeah, so Lionel Sapp, he is the founder of the Digital Builders. And he's been planning the event for a minute. He's one of the change makers for Assembly. And he has a mentorship program because he does a lot of work with kids. So he has a mentorship program. He invited me on to be a part of that. And that's how I first got introduced to Digital Builders. But he's all about bridging the gap between tech and creative spaces and introducing tech to people who might be intimidated by it or just want to know more about it. So he's the visionary behind it. I'm part of the team now. But it's been a lot of fun planning it just because there's so many people who are part of this event, and Assembly hasn't done anything like it before. I haven't seen the city do anything like it before. Just this like massive effort to bring together all of the industries in the area and have us all in one roof, from, like you said, business, art, fashion, music, tech. And it's been a lot of work to plan. It hasn't been stressful, probably because it's not fully my event, but it's been a lot of fun. We've been putting in hours planning this event, but it's been fun just connecting with everybody and like coming up with engaging things for us to do throughout the day. And Assembly's been super supportive and receptive of everything that we want to do. So
because you guys are doing like an actual like fashion show there.
Yeah,
right?
We're doing a fashion show on the rooftop. Yeah. And so I did one there back in 2022.
Okay.
That was the second show that we did, because we did the Mocha twice, our first 2 shows. And then Assembly Rooftop was the next show that we did.
I'm trying to think, was I at that one? I might have been there.
Were you? It was 4th of July weekend, 2022.
Okay.
So that was still like early for us. So it's cool to be coming back now to do something else after 3 years now. And we're just at a different place, and now we have more partners and things. So I'm excited to do it again.
So that's June 28th. What are the times for that? And where can people get tickets for that?
Yeah, so the whole day long event is from 10 a.m. to 11. And then we're going to have an after party, 11 to 2.
At Assembly as well?
So there is an after party from, I think, I might be wrong. It's 9 to 11 or technically 7 to 11. But then we're going to do an off-site after party.
Where's
You
that
have
at?
to get a ticket to find out where that's at. But you can get your tickets at digitalbuilders757.com or they're at the link in our bio or Digital Builders bio as well.
We'll have that in the description.
And the tickets are a steal because it's $20 for access to the business panels in the morning or the rooftop fashion and after party. And then if you want a full day pass to everything, it's only $50.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think Assembly's fire. They do a lot of cool stuff there. I think the first time I was there was when Pharrell threw that event there. What was that called? It wasn't I think it was when the panel was. It was like a weekend thing, I think. I forgot what it was called. It was a name of the.
Was that
whole
part of
event.
Mighty Dream?
Mighty Dream, the Mighty Dream
Yeah.
Forum. That's what I was trying to think. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was my first time being at Assembly, and that was cool to see because it was just
Yeah.
like all the creatives were like out there standing on the corner, and it felt cool.
Yeah. It's a beautiful building. A lot of people don't know about it, which I'm trying to help. But
Kello did his New Year's Eve thing there. We stopped by there.
yeah, we're trying to do more stuff there because it's a great space and so many people just don't know that it's there. All the time, I think everybody knows about it. And when I tell them, like I don't know, like I never heard of Assembly.
Maybe
So,
people might feel intimidated to try to do stuff there because they might feel like it's expensive to like book it.
It is up there. I forget how much it is, but I guess that's a risk you got to take.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
all the venues, because with our fashion show, the one thing is like somewhere that people, I mean, not that no one's ever done a show at the Mocha or whatever, but like just somewhere that it hasn't been done before on that scale. And that usually costs money. So it's just an investment. Yeah.
Has Foster Beauty fashion show became profitable yet for you? Or are you like in the negative? Still like trying to build this thing?
Still trying to build it. We break even sometimes. Sometimes in the beginning we go in the red. I would say the biggest thing for us, because we always do pretty good on ticket sales, the one thing we've really been trying to crack is the sponsorships. I'm sure with the podcast, that's a thing that you've like.
Well, yours is different. So
Yeah,
like me,
events.
it's about like how many people are watching. Like a company pays a certain amount based on like how many eyes will be on that thing. So it's gonna be different for an event.
Yeah.
You know?
Because for one, the thing about events too is, because event sponsorship is one thing, but really trying to position it as a marketing opportunity that you get access to our audience. And whether that's getting the product in hand, giving out samples, or having access to our newsletter and being able to, advertise to our subscribers. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, but that's just one thing I haven't fully cracked yet here. So
That is a tough one. I've been trying to figure that out too. Like last week, I actually went around to like a bunch of different businesses in the air and like Newport News, trying to tell them about the podcast, like sponsorship opportunities, trying to like sell like some of those commercials I was telling you about in the beginning. It's hard to do it because like people don't really understand it, I don't think, because like, a lot of these people are like older people.
Yeah.
So they don't really understand, I think, still the impact of social media and like what that really means. So it's tough.
Yeah.
I haven't figured it out either, honestly.
Yeah.
Shout out to our sponsor. We have a sponsor, Grow Club. It's a weed brand out of Portsmouth.
Okay.
So shout out to them. But I've realized I see that like brands like that, like weed brands and stuff, they'll usually take a risk and like try out different things. But like a car dealership or something. I've been trying to get a sponsor with a car dealership. It's tough though. Yeah,
we've gotten we worked with a car dealership on one of our Mocha shows. I won't say how much they gave, but people be a little stingy with their pockets around here. But I will say one thing for sure. I'm only a few years into this, so I don't want to feel too entitled. Like I have this thing so people should give me money. Like I know there is.
Me too.
I know I do need to grow the audience really. I think there is a part of it where you have to like show people and like really prove
You have to
it
show
to
it.
them.
Well, me, I'm like, okay, I'm trying so hard to make this happen right now when realistically all I need to do is work harder and make better stuff. And eventually these people will come to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
That's how it works, unfortunately. Because I know there was a point too where, and I hear it from so many people, like where you think, and you know, if it does happen, I invite it. But that someone's just gonna like come along and see this great thing that you're doing and give you money.
It happens
like,
though.
It does happen.
You know Asa Jackson from The Can?
Yes.
So that happened to him. Well, first of all, I've done a few episodes with Asa. We do like a one every year. Mm-hmm. I always learn a lot talking to that guy. But his very first studio space he had, literally I think it was a lady, she just gave it to him for free. Because she liked what he was doing, and he needed a building, and she was like, "I have this building for you, and go crazy."
Yeah.
So it does happen.
It does. It's rare. And I've definitely had those moments of people giving me an opportunity or a connection that became something. But
you want to throw the money at you.
As far as the bag,
100,000.
Yes, right now.
Doll hairs.
Right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think it's like the saying, like build it and they'll come.
Yeah.
What is it? So in your mind, what does the trajectory for Foster Beauty Fashion Show look like? Like where can this thing go in like 5-10 years if you keep going? Yeah.
So a couple of different things. I do want to introduce some other revenue streams. So one thing right off the bat, and we got a lot of this after the last show, and we've gotten it before, is people asking, where can I buy these pieces off the runway? So I have a lot of ideas, but some form of marketplace where people can shop and discover emerging designers is something. And then I think the events will become more so something for the community to support and prop up the main like revenue generating thing or like products. And also I do know I want to take it to other places too as well.
Well, if you create that like platform for people to discover and sell stuff, that's like a multi-million-dollar idea in itself. Yeah. If you do it the right way, and then like you said, the fashion shows necessarily don't even have to make money. They're just marketing for that platform.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's the main thing. I have lots of other random ideas of things I wanted. Like I'm a very creative person, so I want to do a little bit of everything in the future. Even with like film, I'm really passionate about film. I told you I have some scripts and things, but as far as the fashion show, that and then like having more of a community platform, doing more. We've done a little bit of producing content for local stylists. We have a little segment that we did called Style with Shara, a local stylist that she was giving styling tips. So, and I have another one with another stylist I need to put out. But just little things like that, like having like shows and like podcasts and other things that we can utilize the platform as, I don't know what you call that, but like the word is escaping me, but making it like a channel, you know?
It's crazy you say that because we have an idea that we've been talking about doing in something similar, but kind of more for the creative and art space. I want to create like a website or an app, some type of platform that connects all these different like underground creative scenes across the country. Because I see what we have here. I see the stuff that exists in the other places we've traveled to. And there's like all these different crazy scenes all around the country that are doing like really cool stuff, but doesn't make it to the mainstream really. So it's like, I think the way that we can all elevate ourselves if we all kind of team up and help each other around the country. So for that, we need to find some way to all connect together and have a place where people can discover that stuff. So I don't know exactly how all like this will look, but we've been talking about it. But my idea is just the homepage to be just like a map of the United States. And maybe it can spread to the world eventually as well, but it's just like the homepage is just a map. And then you can go there as a fan and like click on these different states and these cities and like see what's going on there. And then like it could be ways for artists to connect with each other across lines.
Yeah.
And so
like
something like that. Still in our like very early stages, but I want to do something like that.
I like that a lot. Yeah. I know someone who can build that for you too.
Is it an AI? It's like, it's this AI.
No, it's a real
AI
person
agent that I've been talking to. I'm falling in love with.
It's a real person. But no, that's great. And it's just crazy because there's just, when you talk about underground, just like there's so much opportunity everywhere. Because even we've had people ask us to do shows out in New York. And New York is like one of the fashion capitals of the world, besides, London, Paris, whatever. But I visited Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Okay.
And they have so much fashion there. But
we did a podcast out there.
Yeah, but it's like I was talking to a lot of the store owners, and I would think that I was here the way they were talking, but it's like...
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Just as far as like not having the opportunity, I told a few of them that I produce fashion shows, and they were like, oh my gosh, you have to do a show here. And I'm like, it's New York. Like, I just do shows in Virginia, but like to them, they're not Manhattan. So it's like we don't have the eyes that Manhattan gets. So I was just like, wow, like even here. Then
you go to Manhattan, they're like, well, we're not London.
Right, yes.
Like, wait, where is the place? Where is this shit happening at?
But it just goes to show that like, I feel like whatever you want to do, there's opportunity to do it anywhere. And there's always going to be some form of underdog or like up and coming that you can tap into, which I think is cool.
And also I think there's a sweet spot to like, I kind of like being underground and like the underdog, because you can get to like a certain pedestal and like then you start receiving hate, or then
people want to see you fail.
People want to see you fall, but there's like a sweet spot where you're kind of just like constantly growing and constantly evolving. I don't know. Ariana Foster.
Yes.
Appreciate you so much. Is there anything else you want to touch on? Anything else you want to leave the people with?
No, that's it. Just keep on shining, keep on pushing through. There's a lot of craziness in the world, but I appreciate you. I appreciate moments like this. I appreciate the community that we have here and just the ability to keep on pursuing what we want to do. And I'm excited to see what's in store for all of us.
Yes, ma'am. Control Alt Play, June 28th.
Yes, June 28th.
Tickets available now.
Yes.
Yeah, go learn about some tech stuff, fashion, all of that. Yeah, thank you again. We'll have all those links in the description if you're watching this. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Yeah, see y'all soon.